Hello science fans, let's talk tiny. Hello everyone and welcome. Whether you've been following along with our scientific adventures for years, or this is your very first time tuning in, I'm so glad you're here today. We are about to dive into a topic that is incredibly small but has a gigantic potential to change our world. I'm talking about nanotechnology, and more specifically about nanobots. Now that might sound like something straight out of a science fiction movie, with tiny robots zipping around inside computers or spaceships. And you know what? It's not that far off, but the reality is even more amazing, and it's happening right now in laboratories all over the planet. So, let's get our thinking caps on and prepare to explore the universe of the ultra-small. Imagine a technology so tiny that you could fit billions of them on the head of a pin. These are not your everyday robots with gears and wires that you can see. These are molecular machines designed to perform specific tasks on a scale we can barely comprehend. The idea is to build little helpers that can go where we can't, see what we can't, and fix problems from the inside out. This isn't just a cool idea. It's a field of science that is growing faster every day, promising breakthroughs in medicine, environmental science, and so much more. It's a revolution happening at the nanoscale, and it's going to affect all of us. Our journey today will take us deep into this fascinating subject. We'll start with the basics. What exactly is a nanobot, and how do we even begin to understand something so small? Then, we'll look at how scientists are designing and building these microscopic marvels. What are they made of? How do they move? What gives them their power? We will explore all of these questions together, breaking them down so that the science is clear, exciting, and accessible to everyone. Because science is for everyone, and understanding it helps us all make better decisions about our future. So get ready to have your mind blown by the power of the infinitesimal. We're going on an adventure to the very building blocks of matter, where science is creating tools that will redefine what's possible. From curing diseases to cleaning up our planet, the potential applications are truly awe-inspiring. This is the kind of science that makes you say, wow, it's a testament to human ingenuity and our endless curiosity. Let's jump in and explore the incredible, tiny world of nanobots. Consider this. The next great leap for humankind might just be a very, very small step. So, we keep using this word nano. What does it actually mean? Well, it comes from a Greek word nanos, which means dwarf. In science, nano is a prefix for a unit of measurement, and it means 1/1,000,000th of something. So, a nanometer is 1/1,000,000th of a meter. That's a number so small it's hard to wrap your head around, so let's try to put it into perspective. Think about a single strand of your hair. It's pretty thin, right? A nanometer is about 100,000 times smaller than the width of that single hair. It's an almost impossibly small scale to imagine. Let's try another way. Your fingernails are growing right now, but you can't see them move. They grow at a rate of about 1 nanometer every single second. So if you watch your fingernail for 1 second, the amount it has grown is 1 nanometer. That's the scale we are talking about when we discuss nanotechnology. We are operating in a world where we measure things by the number of atoms across. A typical nanobot might be anywhere from 50 to 100 nanometers wide. At that size, these tiny machines are smaller than a red blood cell, and even smaller than many viruses. This incredibly small size is exactly what makes nanobots so powerful. Because they are so tiny, they can be designed to interact with biological systems on their own level. They can move through our tiniest blood vessels, called capillaries, without causing a traffic jam. They can approach a single diseased cell, like a cancer cell, and interact with it directly without disturbing its healthy neighbors. They can even, in theory, interact with individual molecules like proteins or strands of DNA. This is precision engineering on a scale that was once thought to be purely theoretical. Being this small allows nanobots to operate in a realm governed by different physical rules than the ones we experience every day. For a nanobot, the viscosity of water would feel like swimming through thick honey. The random jostling of water molecules, known as Brownian motion, would be a powerful force that could push them around. Scientists have to account for these strange nanoscale forces when they design these machines. So when you think nano, think smaller than a germ, smaller than a cell, and so small that it can work alongside the very atoms and molecules that make up our world. It's not just small, it's revolutionary. So, how do you build a robot that's too small to see, even with a regular microscope? It's a great question, and scientists have some incredibly clever answers. You can't just use tiny tweezers and screwdrivers. Instead, scientists often use a process called self-assembly. Think of it like a very complex piece of flat-pack furniture that builds itself. Scientists design molecules that, when put in the right conditions, will automatically snap together to form the desired structure. They use the natural properties of chemistry and physics to do the construction work for them. It's like writing a recipe that the atoms themselves can follow. One of the most promising materials for this kind of self-assembly is DNA. Yes, the very same molecule that carries the genetic code for all living things. Scientists have discovered that they can create synthetic strands of DNA and program them to fold into specific, intricate, three-dimensional shapes. This field is called DNA origami. By designing the sequence of the DNA, they can create tiny boxes with lids that open, rotor-like motors, and even little walkers that can move along a track. These DNA structures can then serve as the chassis or skeleton for a nanobot, upon which other functional components can be attached. Of course, a nanobot needs more than just a body. It needs parts that do things. These parts include sensors to detect a target, like a specific protein on a cancer cell. They might need a compartment to carry a payload, such as a dose of medicine. And critically, they need a way to move. Some nanobots are designed to be passive, simply floating through the bloodstream until they happen to bump into their target. Others have tiny motors. These could be little propellers that are spun by external magnetic fields, or they could be chemical engines that use substances in the body as fuel to propel themselves forward. Putting it all together, a typical nanobot might have several key components. It would have a main structure, perhaps made of folded DNA, or a biocompatible polymer. Attached to its surface would be sensor molecules that act like a key, fitting only into the specific lock of a target cell. It might contain a hollow space inside, loaded with a powerful drug, and it could have a tiny propulsion system to help it navigate the crowded environment of the human body. It is a marvel of engineering, where biology, chemistry, and physics all come together to create a machine on the molecular scale. The most exciting and talked about application for nanobots is, without a doubt, in the field of medicine. Imagine a future where treating diseases isn't about flooding the entire body with powerful drugs, but about sending in a team of microscopic surgeons to fix problems with pinpoint accuracy. This is the promise of nanomedicine. One of the primary uses being developed is targeted drug delivery. Many powerful drugs, like those used in chemotherapy, have severe side effects because they harm healthy cells along with cancerous ones. A nanobot could change that completely. Think about it. We could load a nanobot with a potent anti-cancer drug and inject it into a patient. These nanobots would be designed to only recognize and bind to cancer cells. They would circulate harmlessly through the body, ignoring all the healthy tissue. But when one finds a tumor cell, it would latch on and release its drug payload directly into the target, destroying the cancer cell while leaving the neighboring healthy cells untouched. This would make treatments far more effective and dramatically reduce the debilitating side effects that so many patients currently endure. It's like sending in a special forces team instead of carpet bombing the whole area. Beyond just delivering drugs, nanobots could become our ultimate diagnostic tools. They could be engineered to patrol our bodies, constantly searching for the very first chemical signs of a disease, long before any symptoms appear. Imagine nanobots that can detect the specific proteins released by a tumor in its earliest stage, or identify the presence of a dangerous virus or bacterium the moment it enters your system. These nanobots could then send a signal to an external device, like a smartwatch, letting you and your doctor know there's a problem that needs attention. This would shift medicine from treatment to true prevention. The possibilities continue to expand from there. Scientists are exploring nanobots that could perform delicate cellular surgery. If a cell has a defect, a nanobot could potentially enter it and repair the damaged part. For genetic diseases, nanobots could one day deliver tools like CRISPR to snip out a faulty gene and replace it with a healthy one, fixing the problem at its source. They could also be used to clear blockages in arteries, breaking up plaques to prevent heart attacks and strokes, or even fight off antibiotic-resistant superbugs by physically destroying their cell walls. The nanobot is poised to become the most important medical tool of the 21st century. While medicine might be the headline act, the potential for nanobots extends far beyond the hospital. These tiny machines could help us solve some of the biggest challenges facing our planet and society. One of the most significant areas is environmental cleanup. Imagine deploying swarms of nanobots into a polluted river or an oil spill in the ocean. These nanobots could be designed to specifically target and break down toxic chemicals, turning them into harmless substances. They could capture heavy metals or microscopic plastic particles, clumping them together so they can be easily collected and removed. In the world of manufacturing, nanobots could lead to a new industrial revolution. Instead of large factories with subtractive manufacturing, where you start with a big block of material and cut away what you don't need, we could use additive manufacturing on a molecular level. This is often called molecular assembly. Nanobots could be programmed to build complex products, from computer chips to airplane parts, by putting them together atom by atom. This would create materials with incredible strength and precision, all while producing virtually no waste. It's the ultimate form of efficient green manufacturing. Agriculture could also see a massive transformation. Nanobots could be used to create smart dust, tiny sensors that can be scattered across a field to monitor soil conditions, moisture levels, and the presence of pests in real time. This data would allow farmers to use water and fertilizer with incredible precision, only where it's needed, reducing waste and environmental runoff. Other nanobots could function like tiny crop doctors, detecting and treating plant diseases on an individual plant level before an entire field is affected, leading to healthier crops and higher yields for a growing global population. Even the products we use every day could be enhanced by nanotechnology. Think of self-cleaning windows, where nanobots actively repel dirt and water. Or consider batteries that charge in seconds and last for weeks, because nanobots have structured their internal components for maximum efficiency. They could be used to create smarter fabrics that can change color or regulate temperature. The applications are limited only by our imagination. From purifying our water, to building our cities, to powering our devices, nanobots have the potential to quietly and invisibly improve nearly every aspect of our lives. Now, all of this sounds amazing, and it is. But it's important to remember that we are still in the early days of this technology. Getting from the laboratory to real-world, everyday use presents some very big challenges. These hurdles are not just small roadblocks. They are significant scientific and engineering problems that the world's brightest minds are working hard to solve. One of the biggest technical challenges is simply control. How do you precisely steer billions of independent machines that are too small to see? We can use external forces like magnets, but achieving fine-tuned individual control is incredibly difficult. Another major challenge is power. How do you provide energy to a machine that is smaller than a bacterium? You can't just plug it in or give it a tiny battery. Scientists are exploring various options. Some nanobots are designed to harvest energy from their environment, using chemicals in the bloodstream or light as a power source. Others might be powered by external ultrasound or magnetic fields. But creating a power source that is tiny, efficient, and long-lasting is a fundamental problem that needs to be solved before nanobots can perform complex, energy-intensive tasks for extended periods. Communication is another key hurdle. If you have billions of nanobots working inside a patient's body, how do they coordinate with each other? How do they report their findings back to the doctors? Developing a reliable way for these tiny agents to send and receive signals is crucial for them to work together as a team, and for us to monitor their progress. Scientists are experimenting with chemical signals, radio waves, and light pulses, but creating a robust nanoscale communication network is a frontier of engineering that is still being actively explored and developed. Finally, there is the challenge of mass production. It's one thing to create a few thousand nanobots in a highly specialized lab for an experiment. It's another thing entirely to manufacture them by the trillions, ensuring that every single one is perfectly formed and functional. Developing cost-effective, scalable manufacturing processes is essential to making nanobot technology affordable and accessible for widespread use. Overcoming these challenges in control, power, communication, and manufacturing will be the key to unlocking the full, incredible potential of this revolutionary technology. Whenever we talk about a powerful new technology, one of the most important questions we have to ask is it safe? This is especially true for nanobots, which are designed to operate inside our bodies and our environment. The number one priority for scientists in this field is ensuring the safety of these tiny machines. The primary concern is biocompatibility. What happens to the nanobots after they've completed their mission? We need to be absolutely sure that the materials they are made from are not toxic and will not cause a harmful immune reaction in the body. Scientists are tackling this by building nanobots from materials that the body already knows how to handle. This includes things like lipids, proteins, and even DNA, as we discussed earlier. The ideal nanobot would be biodegradable. After it delivers its medicine or repairs a cell, it would simply break down into harmless basic components that the body can easily absorb or excrete. Extensive testing is required to understand how different nanomaterials interact with living tissues over both the short and long term. ensuring they don't accumulate in organs or cause unforeseen problems down the road. Another safety concern is unintended consequences. What if a nanobot designed to destroy cancer cells accidentally targets a healthy cell? Precision is key. This is why so much research goes into developing highly specific sensor and targeting systems. The goal is to create nanobots that are incredibly good at their one specific job and completely inert to everything else. This involves creating molecular keys that fit only the locks found on target cells. Rigorous multi-stage testing in cell cultures, animal models, and eventually, controlled human trials is the only way to ensure this level of precision and safety. Beyond the human body, we must also consider the environmental impact. If we release nanobots to clean up an oil spill, what happens to them afterwards? Could they have unintended effects on the ecosystem? These are critical questions that environmental scientists are studying. The goal is to design environmental nanobots that are programmed to become inert after a certain amount of time or after their task is complete. Ensuring the safety of nanobots is not an afterthought. It is a central and non-negotiable part of their design and development process, because a tool is only useful if it helps without causing harm. With great power comes great responsibility, and nanotechnology is no exception. As this technology moves from the realm of theory to reality, it's crucial that we, as a society, develop clear rules and regulations to guide its use. This isn't about slowing down progress. It's about making sure that progress benefits everyone safely and ethically. Government agencies like the Food and Drug Administration in the United States are already working to create frameworks for evaluating and approving nanomedicines. These regulations will ensure that any new nanobot-based therapy undergoes the same, if not more, rigorous testing for safety and efficacy as traditional drugs. This regulatory process needs to be a global conversation. Nanotechnology doesn't recognize borders. The scientific research is international, and the potential applications, both medical and environmental, are global in scope. Therefore, it's important for scientists, ethicists, policymakers, and the public from all over the world to work together. We need to establish international standards for the manufacturing, testing, and deployment of nanotechnologies. This collaboration will help ensure that the benefits of nanobots are shared widely and that safety protocols are universally understood and followed, building public trust in the process. There are also important ethical questions to consider. For example, if nanobots can be used to enhance human abilities, where do we draw the line between therapy and enhancement? Who gets access to these potentially life-saving or life-changing technologies? We must work to ensure that nanobot therapies are accessible and affordable for everyone who needs them, not just the wealthy. These are complex societal questions that don't have easy answers, which is why a broad public dialogue is so essential. An informed public can help guide policymakers to create rules that are fair, just, and in the best interest of humanity. Ultimately, the goal of regulation is not to stifle innovation, but to foster it responsibly. Clear guidelines give scientists and companies a clear path forward, letting them know what safety and efficacy standards they need to meet. This actually encourages investment and research by reducing uncertainty. By being proactive and thoughtful about creating the rules of the road for the nanoscale realm, we can pave the way for a future where nanobots are used to their full potential to solve some of our biggest problems, all while upholding our shared values of safety, fairness, and ethical responsibility. We have traveled from the incredibly small scale of a single nanometer to the gigantic possibilities that nanobots hold for our future. We've seen how these tiny machines, built from molecules and powered by clever chemistry, are poised to become our partners in health, environmental stewardship, and technological innovation. It's a field of science that is brimming with hope and ingenuity. The journey is still long, and there are many challenges to overcome, but the direction is clear. We are learning to speak the language of molecules, to build with the precision of nature itself. The future that nanobots can help us build is truly inspiring. It's a future with more effective and gentler cures for devastating diseases like cancer and Alzheimer's. It's a future where we can actively repair the environmental damage of the past, cleaning our water and air molecule by molecule. It's a future with more efficient energy, smarter materials, and more sustainable ways of living on this beautiful planet. This isn't a distant, impossible dream. It is the tangible goal that thousands of scientists, engineers, and thinkers are working toward every single day in labs all around the world. Science is a cumulative process, built on curiosity, persistence, and collaboration. The development of nanobots is a perfect example of this, bringing together experts from physics, chemistry, biology, medicine, and engineering. And the most important member of this collaboration is you. By learning about technologies like this, by asking questions, and by participating in the conversation about its future, you play a vital role. An engaged and scientifically literate public is the best possible catalyst for responsible and amazing innovation. Keep asking why. Keep wondering how. Keep celebrating the pursuit of knowledge. So as we conclude our journey for today, I want to leave you with a sense of wonder and optimism. The universe of the small holds the keys to solving some of our biggest problems. The nanobots are coming, and they are going to change the world for the better. Thank you so much for joining me today. To both my new friends and my longtime followers, keep looking up and keep looking deeper, because science is everywhere, and it is for everyone. Thanks for reading.